Okay, first things first, because I know you're all very, very worried about me. Hey, what's wrong with Adrian? Why does he look like he's crying? Is he really sad? Is he on some sort of drugs? Did he just wake up? No, it was the allergies. So I'm not sneezing today. I'm not crying. I'm not sleepy from an antihistamine. I'm good. So hello there. Welcome to RTV Daily, the show where we go over all the things that have happened in international football in the last 24 hours, minus the Euro Under-21 Championships. I'm your host, Gladys Trillman, and we'll start with the Women's World Cup. In just the 5th minute, the USA were awarded an extremely soft penalty. Tobin Heath was past her marker, and as her planted foot was coming up, it came into contact with Maria Leon's, and Heath threw herself to the ground. I didn't like it, though there was contact, and we lived in a post-VAR world now, so we'll have to get used to these extremely soft pens. It used to feel like a penalty was earned most of the time. Now any amount of contact results in a penalty. It's frustrating. More on this later. Megan Rapinoe stepped up to the penalty and hit it past Paños' left, 1-0 USA, but just a few minutes later, an error at the back led to Hermoso, one of the world's best goal scorers, showing exactly that, why she's rated so highly, with a deft strike into the top corner as Nair was caught out. 1-1. First goal that the USA had conceded in this tournament, but in the 82nd minute, Spain gave the USA a wake-up call when Patricia Gallardo cut inside and her well-placed ball rolled across the face of goal untouched. It was begging to have someone on the end of it. And while the US didn't look as dominant as in the group stage, every attack felt like it bore a threat. And finally, in the 70th minute, who else but Rose Lavelle won a penalty for the States when the Spanish defender's attempted clearance missed the ball and she lightly raked Lavelle's leg. Once again, lightly, but I guess also clumsily. There's barely any contact, and it's unfortunate for the defender because she clearly didn't intend to do so, but unfortunately, intent doesn't appear in the law of the game. This is another thing, guys. VAR throws up this brand new problem where there's such a microscope on everything that you're going to get penalties where simply because there's a touch of contact of any kind, it will be given, posing another problem in judgment in how do you measure how much contact is enough for a penalty and what isn't? How do you now measure whether that contact impeded the player enough or if the player is embellishing? Because right now it's open season for embellishment. It sucks. The penalties are going to be extremely soft from this moment forward in the game, bordering on almost phantom penalties at times. So we'll have to get used to penalties like this from now on, I guess. I hate it. It feels like there's been a rule change now to any bit of contact in the box will get you a penalty, and now you're going to see major gamesmanship from attackers. So Rapinoe stepped up for her second penalty of the match, hit it to the same side, and got the same outcome. Paños did come close this time, but I guess that new rule about the keeper's foot being on the line will slow the dives of keepers until they get used to it, so we can also expect that. Or can we? More on that later. Spain pushed and pushed, but their final ball consistently let them down, so it was the USA who made it through thanks to their solid defensive work and a couple PKs. They were a little fortunate in this game with those penalties, but it won't matter to them. They will move on to face France. Canada versus Sweden, playing for the right to face Germany in the quarterfinals, and this one was as tight as everyone had expected it to be. A match of very few opportunities. The first half offered up almost nothing for anybody watching. I sympathize with the neutrals who were subjected to that. There were just 3 shots between the two teams, none of them on target, and a ton of Canada just passing the ball around the Swedes. And not doing a ton with that possession. The second half was much improved, at least from an entertainment perspective, as Sweden found the opener just 10 minutes into the half from a devastating counterattack that Stina Blackstenius finished Aslani's through ball to perfection. This is what Sweden is incredible at. In fact, Norway is similar, as these Scandinavians have got the defense first and counterattack tactics down to a science. From there on, Canada dictated more of the play as per usual, but the Swedish defense stood strong with plenty of clearances, 23 in the end, to Canada's 8. Now, Canada did have an opportunity from the penalty spot after a handball, and surprisingly, Janine Beckie stepped up to take it instead of Christine Sinclair. Beckie struck it relatively well, but it was saved by Hedvig Lindahl, even perfectly executing it despite the rule change. Look at this. It wasn't a terrible penalty from Beckie. It was headed right for the corner. It was simply an amazing save from Lindahl. So try as Canada might, they couldn't find an equalizer, and Sweden even came close to making it 2-0 in the 85th minute, but Scott cleared it. Overall, I'd say a deserved win for Sweden. 1-0 was representative of this match. Sweden don't play the most attractive football out there, but it's brought them success and you can't fault them for that. Well, I mean, Hope Solo would. But man, it was nice to have a match that didn't have VAR controversy though. Very refreshing. Today you can watch Italy versus China and Netherlands versus Japan. Personally, I'm looking forward to that Japan-Netherlands match. Don't expect many goals from Italy and China. Copa America, baby. Japan versus Ecuador. Whoever won this one was through at the expense of Paraguay, and for Japan, it seemed like they had found their starting lineup where Kubo was introduced alongside Okazaki in the attack, and Kubo looked good. But I mean, try as they might, no Japanese attacker was superior to Shoya Nakajima, who's an incredible player. Great vision, great on the ball, his passing is great, finishing. This was an extremely even match, end-to-end stuff, but it was the Japanese who took the lead in the 15th minute when Alexander Dominguez's attempt at a driven clearance went straight to Nakajima, and his strike kissed the crossbar on the way in. Beautiful. Love a little bar down once in a while. But as per the flow of the match, a few Ecuador attacks later, and Kawashima, who played incredibly versus Uruguay and pretty damn well in this one, made an outstanding save on Christian Ramirez, but the rebound was tucked by Angel Peña, who was Ecuador's star of the first half at least. The second half was just as fast and furious, but it wasn't no Tokyo Drift, more like the Quito Crawl, know what I'm saying? No, it wasn't that slow. In fact, Japan had 3 big chances to win the match but failed to take them all, meaning that they failed to move on in this competition, and Paraguay makes it through on goal difference as one of the 2 best third place teams. The other match on the night was a nothing match really, with Chile taking on Uruguay, and this one didn't see a winner until the 82nd minute thanks to Edinson Cavani's header. Dude looked sharp against Japan but just couldn't buy a goal, and he finally scored one here. Well, I mean, he scored in the opener as well, but it was almost 180 minutes of frustration for him. However, the best part of the match was definitely Luis Suarez calling for a handball on Gabriel Arias, the Chilean goalkeeper. Suarez. What a dude, man. And so concludes the Copa America group stage. The quarterfinals start up again on the 27th, so there's a bit of a break here. Over in Egypt, the Ivory Coast started their Cup of Nations campaign against a fellow former champion in South Africa. Well, South Africa last won it back in 1998, so they're definitely due for some victories. However, they didn't get their tournament started on the right foot, really, but it wasn't a total loss to them. They were able to impose themselves on the ball with some possession, but they didn't do a single thing with it. Something Coach Stuart Baxter will really need to work on with this team. More dynamic movement in the attack, while players will need a better final ball and a finish. Just 2 shots attempted throughout the entire match. Ivory Coast, on the other hand, were economical when they were attacking, forcing a couple saves out of Williams, and Jonathan Kojia scored the decisive goal in the 64th minute. Beautifully centered ball by Gradel. And that was it. 1-0 win for Ivory Coast, 3 points, good start. In Group B, Tunisia and Angola played to a 1-1 draw. Very well balanced match, and Jalma, a name I haven't heard in ages, scored the equalizer for Angola in the 73rd minute. A very deserved equalizer, I would say. But in the other match, Mali versus Mauritania, Mali wasn't playing around. They have some great attackers. I feel like they may be one of the dark horses of this tournament. Abdoulaye Diaby from Sporting opened the scoring, but Moussa Marega of Porto, Portuguese Liga All-Stars, he converted a penalty on the stroke of halftime. And here's where things get a little bit confusing, so you're gonna have to pay attention here. In the 55th minute, Adama Traores scored and was subbed off 6 minutes later. The man who took his place, Adama Traore, but neither of them are the guy that you're probably thinking of that plays for Wolves. Once the second Adama Traore came on, he later added a 4th Mali goal, which was assisted by Moussa Doumbia. Mauritania did convert a penalty, but other than that, they weren't very threatening at all. 4-1 the final, and today's matches should be fun as we finally get to see Cameroon as they take on Guinea-Bissau, while Ghana also gets things started against Benin. Okay, boys and girls, Gold Cup time. Bermuda, after scoring their first ever goal in the Gold Cup in this tournament, picked up their first ever victory in the Gold Cup after defeating the team that has become pretty much everyone's punching bag, Nicaragua. Great second half from Bermuda with Lejuan Simmons getting what was the eventual winner, so they actually end up in 3rd with their 2-0 win. Nicaragua had a dreadful campaign, losing all 3 of their matches, conceding 8 goals and scoring 0. Editor Adrian, take it away.
Yo, Editor Adrian here, just to say that in the final match in Group B,
B, Haiti versus Costa Rica. Now, of course, you would assume, oh, Haiti, they're probably going to lose to Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a great team. Well, not in this match. Costa Rica was piss poor, to be honest with you, and Haiti deservedly got a 2-1 win, meaning they finished first in Group B, so they will play against Canada in the quarterfinals, while Mexico versus Costa Rica is the other quarterfinals match. So one part of the bracket is already filled out. Canada and Haiti, Mexico and Costa Rica. Now tomorrow, we have Jamaica versus Curacao, plus we also have Honduras versus El Salvador. Please enjoy. This was a quick little update from your friend, Editor Adrian. Make sure to leave a 5-star review in Uber or Yelp for me. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to me, and I'm just here to say, see you later. You thought I'd just hit you with the Irish goodbye, just slip out without saying anything? I'd never. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and have a lovely day. Because I love you. Later.